Well, I would like to thank everybody for being here. Myself being a member of Weber State University, we are very proud and we are honored that that we were selected as a venue for discussing so important things as water management. Even though I am academic and I will try to show as little numbers as possible in my next slides, I will pose those some difficult questions that we can only answer as the entire community. So we need to talk to each other and we need to listen to everybody. We need to write down information about what are people's concerns, and then we can share what we know and what we don't know. So our goal is to try to find the right questions that we should be answering. Water is the most important factor that will influence development of Northern Utah economy in the next 25 years. Okay. Water management will affect different sectors of the economy in different ways, but it is the most important factor that will control development of the economy in the next 25 years in our region. And I think it is very important that we share this information with anybody else that will listen. Couple of facts just on this slide is the main source of water that we still have available is water that we will save from other uses. We don't have the whole lot of extra water, but we can manage our water smarter as the community. That's why we need to talk to each other and we need to understand better where water is flowing and how we can use it better. The ideal scenario will be if, as a community, we will have some water stored for rainy day situation, where we have drought conditions and we will be in more dire situation. I know that it's tough, but it's important to be honest about where we are. Okay, this picture shows us overall where we are with water sources and water fluxes in the Weber River watershed and Great Salt Lake watershed. So we have mountain range with precipitation. We have two major aquifer systems. We use one of them to drink water every day. And this is the only source of water that is reliable that we have. We have pretty reasonable knowledge about how much water is coming in and how much water is coming out. This particular picture shows you a water budget as described in publication from year 1966. What's changed since 1966, we are using 3 times more water than we were using in 1966. Overall, we are getting the same amount of water in the natural water cycle. So our water flowing in and flowing out has changed a little bit. That picture from the last slide, it comes really from this publication from 1966, where all of the sources of water flowing in and flowing out were measured. We need to have more precise knowledge, and a lot of stakeholders are working on that. This particular slide, it shows us 2 main issues that we need to address. In the central portion of the slide, we have Great Salt Lake, with portions of Weber County. The chart in the right lower corner, it shows us changes of water level in Great Salt Lake. The charts on the right side of the picture, they shows us groundwater levels. And this is this particular well I has selected because it is has more complete set of observations. Water in Great Salt Lake, overall, it fluctuates about 25 feet between the high water level and low water level. So the high water level at elevation 40 to 12 was measured during the last flooding event in 1984. In 2021 and 2022, water level in the lake was in historic low level 4188. So the chart on the left side of the slide, it shows us what the lake is doing, and the fluctuations, they overall are typically between a couple of feet to 10 feet between different hydrologic cycles. The slides on the right side of the picture, they show you that groundwater levels, this is our only source of drinking water, decline in this particular well by 80 feet in last 75 years. In some other areas, we have bigger decline. Two things that we need to keep in mind. One is groundwater level in this particular well used to be 85 feet above water level elevation in Great Salt Lake a few decades ago. Today is only 25 feet above water level in Great Salt Lake. We have lost 75% of the elevation to play with. Two things why this is important. One is when we lower water level in groundwater in aquifers, we are reducing the amount of water that flows to Great Salt Lake. The second thing that happened that Dr. Paul Brooks was talking about, storage in groundwater. We have lost a lot of storage in groundwater in the last few decades. We have lost already more in the last 75 years than we have left. So something that our community should think about. When water level in this well lowers the elevation of Great Salt Lake, we will reverse direction of water flowing in our region. Instead of water flowing from the mountains to the lake, the water will be flowing from the lake toward the mountains. It will take some time, but it's important to notice it. I forgot to mention one very important thing. I am a big supporter of our Weber Basin Water District and other water districts. I think they did a fabulous job in the last several years to improve water management. But they are in tough positions because they have their own political stakeholders. Sometimes they will not say openly what they think and what they know because they will upset some people. I am in a position of university professor. I don't care if I upset somebody. I just need to be honest. And my honest message is we need to get more serious about water management. It will work better for everybody. Another important thing is why we should bank some water, why we should have some additional resources stored, because we live in an area where prolonged droughts happened in the last 2,000 years number of times. Okay, this record is from the Colorado River, and some places that are below this gray line, these are extended periods of drought that some of them lasted for more than 50 years. I don't know when the next drought that is 50-year long will happen. I know for sure it will happen because it happened a number of times in the past. So Where is the water coming from? What is our situation? What are our solutions? So banking water would be ideal. I don't know how to do it. I don't have answer for that. As the community, we need to find this answer. We can manage water resources better by moving more water into groundwater storage, because then we don't lose water because of evaporation. We are losing water because evaporation from every single reservoir. Now, managed aquifer recharge is a complicated community decision, because we need to find places that geologically are going to help us, and we know some of them. As a community, maybe we need to identify more. As the community, maybe we need to find some money to help converting these places to store more groundwater. So we have some management practices available to us: water reuse, understanding better how fast water flows in different reservoirs, things like that. Okay, so this picture shows us again where we are in our area in Weber River watershed. Two simple facts. The picture in the left upper corner shows you that our population is going to double by 2060, and the amount of water that we have is not going to increase. We need to figure out something. So we need to play with these very difficult aspects of where we live: a shrinkage Great Salt Lake, and then declining water levels in groundwater reservoirs. That is our main source of drinking water. I think the metering efforts of Weber Basin and other stakeholders gave fabulous results. On the average, in the last 3 years, the use of secondary water decreased by 29%. 29% is a great number, but we need more. Weber Basin did projection modeling, and they might not say it openly, but they have the results. We need to reduce our consumption by 40% per person, only to stabilize our situation, not to improve our situation. So just from my own experience, I reduced my secondary water consumption by 75% in the last 3 years. And that's my goal, to stay within 50 to 60% of water that Weber Basin allocated to my property, because I think that this is the right thing to do. But also, this will help balancing our water budget. Operating water systems is complicated. So this slide and the next slide will show you that even in Upper Ogden Valley, you have a lot of users. You have a lot of discussion how to improve water management. Each of them is a costly proposition, but some of them, or probably a combination of them, needs to be done. And this slide shows how complex managing water system is in Upper Ogden Valley. That you have 6 major stakeholders on the left side on the slide, and that each of them has many sub-stakeholders. It's a complicated system. Maybe it will be good to have somebody in charge of the whole system that will understand better where water is moving and where we can make improvements. So going back to the region, we live in an area where we have droughts. We need to be serious about water allocation, and there are going to be economic risks depending on our decisions. And just to show you that drying lakes, this is not a fantasy. In the same geographic region where we are in southeast part of Oregon, there is Lake Abbott that is drying out once every few years altogether. The similarity is very big because the geology and the hydrologic system is very similar. What I'm saying is we cannot say for sure that Great Salt Lake will never dry. We just don't know that. And this is a picture of Great Salt Lake area without Great Salt Lake. Luckily, it hasn't happened yet, but it's a possibility. I think it's important to have community conversation. I think it is important to recognize how important water is. Okay, we need to be smart about water management, about reallocation of water, about saving water so that we can use it for things that we need. And this graph shows the simulations from Weber Basin District. The lower graph in the right side, it shows what will happen if we do have 40% reduction in water use. And that shows that we are still going to increase the amount of water that we are using, just slower. And this is not about complaining. This is just saying how the real situation looks like. Water works in natural systems, so this is, this is not a serious figure. This is an alternative picture of United States of America, but this time, instead of having United States, we have United Watersheds of America. That water works in watersheds, and we need to do water management within every watershed. If we don't have enough water, maybe we should talk to our neighboring watersheds. Maybe they have more than we can use. Thank you so much for your attention.
Got time for a few quick questions for Dr. Matyjasik, if there are any. Oh, yep. Coming over.
Hello, thank you for that very good presentation, Dr. Matyjasik. The question I have is, in a little corner of one slide, it said something like, if every water right was exercised, it would double the use. Does that mean we are actually over-allocated by a factor of 2?
I think this particular information was not only about over-allocation, but also about less than optimal use of water rights, because it depends on a timeline when we are using certain volumes of water. If we can spread it to more optimal time periods, maybe we'll be able to manage water better. Also, another picture shows that in some areas, luckily not in our region, but in California, water was over-allocated by 1,500% in one particular watershed. So things like this happen.
Hello. In your presentation, when you mentioned of reducing 40% of the usage of water, how will that look like to the person on a day-to-day besides lowering the amount in lawn care? Besides lawn care, what are some examples of reducing the usage of water and trying to save some?
Okay, great question. I think everybody will have a different answer for that. I will just give answer based on my own experience. As I said, I am using today 75% less secondary water than I was using 5 years ago, and I feel super happy about it. Also, in summer dry months, when I start taking shower, I am collecting the first 5 gallons of water because it's cold water. This is just something unique about me. I don't like taking cold showers, so I'm collecting this bucket of water, and then I'm using in my yard. Otherwise, it will be wasted. So this is just an example of reusing or being smarter. So everybody will have different answer for that. I am totally confident that we can reduce consumption by 40% without affecting anybody's life in any negative way, and everybody will be waking up in the morning happier, and we contribute to the success of the community.